Yes, sir. So we got this situation going on with Whoopi Goldberg, and she just got suspended for making some comments about the Holocaust and the Jewish community, whatnot. And people got to pay attention to see who it is that you actually can't talk about. You got so many times where brothers are making comments about the Jews or whatever you want to call them, and then they get labeled automatically anti-Semitic or whatever. Deshaun Jackson, Nick Cannon. He had to go on an apology tour and whatnot like a grown child asking for his show, quote unquote. I don't get how you can ask for something that's yours from somebody else, neither here nor there. But for some odd reason, people are taking the panel of The View so serious as if they're historians. We know that they lean left. We know that cancel culture is going to cancel itself. The show is a joke because nobody really takes them serious. But for some odd reason, Whoopi's getting suspended 2 weeks just for being wrong. You know what I mean? So many people want to get up in arms instead of correcting her, educating her on something else. She gets suspended. Just lets you know who you can and who you can't talk about. How many times panels of The View that participate there are saying outlandish things, for instance, about the quote unquote black community, but that's okay because people that are from that community, you know what I mean, downgrade themselves on a day-to-day basis. So I guess it's okay for everybody else to talk about it. But that's neither here nor there, though. Let's check it out.
Breaking news overnight. The View co-host Whoopi Goldberg suspended for 2 weeks for her comments about the Holocaust. Ariel Reshef has the story. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, George. Though Goldberg has apologized, her comments sparked a firestorm, some seeing this as a troubling sign of fading understanding about the horrors of the Holocaust. This morning, ABC News suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks in response to her inflammatory remarks about the Holocaust. ABC News President Kim Godwin saying in a statement, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. The entire ABC News organization stands in solidarity with our Jewish colleagues, friends, family, and communities.
If you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race.
On Monday's show, the host of ABC's The View inaccurately claimed the Holocaust was not related to race.
Right, but Whoopi Goldberg isn't a historian. The View isn't a show to be taken serious. When they're pushing all of the propaganda, all of the Marxist propaganda, all of the left-leaning propaganda, there's nothing wrong with it. When they want to push some kind of narrative, whether it's a downgrade on some other community, it's okay. When they talk about things with no knowledge about it, it's okay. They can easily get corrected behind the curtains. They don't want to talk about it, make it a press conference, nobody gets suspended. But when you make a comment about anything that relates to the Jewish community, you best believe something's coming your way.
It's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about. Whoopi Goldberg.
Goldberg appearing to double down on the Colbert Show that night.
This just goes to show you that women that aren't experts, have no expertise in studying quote unquote race and those type of relations, just shouldn't be partaking in none of these conversations. Talk about things that elderly women want to hear in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? Talk about a cooking book. Talk about the dude that's on the cover of the men's magazine or something like that. You know what I mean? Why are you talking about politics? Why the hell are you guys talking about the Holocaust? You know what I mean? Makes no sense.
The American experience tends to be based on skin.
Yes. And so that is...
And that's why big woke idiots, pro-blacks, the list goes on, just think that everybody that has quote-unquote white skin is of the same. They come from slave owners, and everybody with dark complexion, brown, black, whatever they want to call it, red and yellow. You know, they want to bring out all of the colors in a crayon box. You come from slaves, nothing more, nothing less. You know what I mean? But you line up like a handful of Caucasians, quote unquote. This dude is Italian. He's Russian. He's from the Czech Republic. He's from Germany. The list goes on. But you can't tell these woke idiots that because they only see black and white. Goofballs.
What race means to me. When you talk about being a racist, I was saying you can't call this racism. This was evil. This wasn't based on the skin. You couldn't tell who was Jewish. They had to delve deeply to figure it out.
then tweeting an apology saying in part, "The Jewish people around the world have always had my support and that will never waver."
Like I said, she's going to double down when she has no knowledge of anything. But let's just point out that the picture on her Twitter handle is this right here, just showing one eye. She's down with the team. So who knows what this is? To shame her? All of this to talk about what? Don't talk about the Jewish community unless you have some knowledge. Don't say anything outlandish, even if it isn't outlandish, because people will perceive it as outlandish because they're going to say you don't know what you're talking about. Who knows?
"Sorry for the hurt I have caused." And the next day, opening The View with this.
I said that the Holocaust wasn't about race, and it was instead about man's inhumanity to man. But it is indeed about race, because Hitler and the Nazis considered Jews to be an inferior race. Now, words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand corrected. I also stand with the Jewish people, as they know, and y'all know, because I've always done that.
By the end,
We all know that. That's why you got the name Goldberg. But you say that words matter, but you're reading off of a teleprompter. Oh my goodness, man. These people can't even give you words from the heart. They got to read off the teleprompter. People got to tell them what to say. They can't even speak for themselves for the most part. And then when they speak for themselves, they give their view, quote unquote. They get backlash and they get suspended.
of the Holocaust, just 77 years ago, 6 million Jews had been murdered.
That might not fit exactly or feel different than the way we think about race in 21st century America, where primarily it's about people of color. But throughout the Jewish people's history, they have been marginalized, they have been persecuted, they have been slaughtered in large part.
And we understand that, but to Whoopi's credit, she's only going to look at it from her perspective. And this is why, if you're a pro-black, really looking for the betterment of the family and the youth, that you got to keep your race relations to yourself. It's not a global thing. It's an in-house thing. And then it trickles down and spreads out to the next door neighbor. And then you build a community from there. Why are you talking to Caucasians, Asians, Southeast Asians about what's going on and what do you need to fix with your community? Makes no sense. We should not be having all of these talks. This is what they're doing, making it a global issue. You got to know about this. It's not about that. It doesn't matter about how you perceive it. You got to be sensitive to this and that. It's too much confusion. You feel me? Whoopi Goldberg is seeing it from her eyes. That's why you can't fault her. She's seeing it as a skin colored thing because that's what she is. That's just basic thinking, but that's how some people are going to think because a good amount of people are just basic. It is what it is. Black and white. That's how they view things. That's why they're always complaining to their white counterparts, quote unquote.
Many people felt they were not just a different religion, but indeed a different race.
The head of the Anti-Defamation League warning anti-Semitism is still a real and present danger.
We need people on good faith on the left and the right to call this out forcefully, fully, without hesitation.
And studies show an alarming decline in knowledge about the Holocaust at a time when anti-Semitism has surged to unprecedented levels. The FBI saying Jews are the most targeted for religious-based hate crimes in this country. And George, as you heard there, Goldberg saying she regrets her comments and any hurt they may have caused.
Yes, she did. Okay, Ariel, thank you.
And you notice that whenever anybody makes a comment about the Jewish community, they make sure that they will not make that mistake again. But then on the flip side, when it comes to the quote unquote black community, any and everybody could slander it. A little cheap ass apology and everything is okay about it. No repercussions, nothing. These people get suspended. They get fired. They lose their jobs. They lose a lot. Well, it's enough of that. I'm out.